Good morning, you guys, it's Karen, and I'm here to talk about the differences between Plenish and Alpro. This is my notes here, and more notes here. I did research on this yesterday. It's been ages since I've been able to actually properly research something, so I really enjoyed it, I have to say, and it was quite surprising. So I have been drinking Alpro unsweetened milk for many years, and I saw something on social media that was talking about somebody had made a dessert with this Alpro unsweetened milk, and there was a comment about, you know, why would you use something with so much crap in it? And then somebody else said, oh no, it's okay. There was this long argument basically on social media about it, and I thought, yeah, you know what, I did look, I heard some research on the TV, and I did look at some things I was eating and drinking and thinking I need to kind of reduce the amount of emulsifiers or preservatives and anything that was, you know, not good. There was particular things I was looking at, and for some reason I don't know whether I looked at my Alpro milk and realised it but didn't have the brain power to research anything different, or whether I just was like, you know, it's fine, I'm not going to do that at the moment. But then somebody mentioned on here, somebody actually left me a comment and said that Plenish do an almond milk that only has 3 ingredients in it. I don't know if that's how she put it, but she said she was pointing out that the Alpro has other stuff in it, and to try this Plenish. So I got the Plenish almond milk, which is unsweetened, and I've been using that, and yeah, it's really interesting when you actually have a look at the differences. So I've got all of my notes about the differences, and like I said, I think you'll be surprised. Okay, so they're both vegan. Cost wise, the Plenish is £2.50, although it is £2 on Amazon if you buy, like, I think it's 18. Alpro is £2 or £2.10. It's currently on offer at Asda for £1.50. So the Alpro is definitely cheaper. Calories wise, in the Plenish there's 29 calories, and in the Alpro unsweetened there's 15 calories. That's why I started using it in the first place, to be honest. It was because of the calories, the low calorie content. I was trying to lose the weight for my wedding. I think that's when I started using it. Okay, carbs wise, there's 0.4 grams of carbs in the Plenish, but none in the Alpro. Oops, I'm losing a battery. Fat content is 2.2 in the Plenish, 1.1 in the Alpro. Fibre, there's 0.4 in the Plenish, 0.3 in the Alpro, so they're about the same. Availability, this is where they differ quite a lot. You can get Alpro unsweetened milk anywhere, but the Plenish, I have only seen it on Amazon online. You can get it in Sainsbury's and you can get it in Waitrose. I don't know whether Tesco do it. I know that Asda don't do it. I never go to Tesco at all. So it's definitely easier to get the Alpro one. The consistency is very different between these. The Alpro is thick. In fact, I remember saying to Kev, I didn't understand why my shakes were so thick, because I stopped using something, and whatever I stopped using in my shakes I thought was the thing that was making it thick. So I sort of eliminated things and was like, no matter what I do, my morning shake is still thick. And it turns out it was because it was the milk. It was the Alpro milk, and I was probably wondering why when I used normal milk it was a lot thinner. So I now make my shake with the Plenish milk, or have been for the last little while, and it is so thin, it's unbelievable. It's so thin, it is just like a drink. But when you use the Alpro unsweetened, it thickens up like a shake. The Plenish one is organic. The Alpro doesn't state it's organic as far as I can see, so it's not. And then we're down to the ingredients. So in the Plenish, there is simply almonds, spring water and salt. So great, just 3 natural ingredients. In the Alpro, there is water, almonds, calcium, salt, stabilizers, flavorings, potassium iodide, vitamin B12, vitamin D and vitamin E. So this is where the kind of argument comes, and I'll talk about that in a moment. Let me just see if there's any other, there's something else I listed here. I just wanted to mention that, you know, when people are getting into the nitty gritty of something, of a food product, you're always going to find something. You know, the lettuce leaves can give you food poisoning. If you buy them in the bag, you know, that's where the most of the food poisoning comes from. If you buy them just on the leaf, it's not as bad. But almonds can have aflatoxin on them, which is not something that you want to be eating. And so there's risks with everything, you know, I think was my point. So I've put down my pros and cons for these two, but let me first talk about the ingredients. I think people have said that this has stabilizers and emulsifiers, therefore it's not good, of the Alpro unsweetened milk. However, the stabilizers are guar gum and gellan gum, and there's actually not emulsifiers in here. Oh no, there is lecithins. They didn't actually show on the first ingredients thing I looked at. There is lecithins, I can never say that word, and then natural flavourings. If there's flavourings and they're natural, it tends to be okay. It's when you've got synthetic added flavourings that it's a problem. Emulsifiers, lecithins is one of the ones that is considered safe, so that's not an issue. And then you've got these emulsifiers that they've done some tests on animals, but they need to do more tests in humans to find out if there is actually any major issue. But currently what they have found is that gellan gum is safe and guar gum is thought to be safe unless taken in excessive amounts. And in excessive amounts, it may irritate irritable bowel disease. So if you've got a problem with your stomach, it may be irritating. However, guar gum has also been found to have a beneficial effect on blood sugar and cholesterol, which I think is good, you know. This Alpro also has added vitamins, which is good. It's got vitamin B12, D and E. Again, some people will say it's not good because they're synthetic added vitamins, so depends where you fall on that. So I was pleasantly surprised when I looked at the Alpro unsweetened. I was expecting to find something in there that I didn't want to have, and there's nothing. There's nothing in there that I have any issues with at all. Obviously, at its core, it's best to have something with less ingredients. So the Plenish one does win in that respect because it's only got the 3 ingredients in. But there's no ingredient that I think is a concern for me in the unsweetened one. And there are some that are actually a benefit, you know. So the pros and cons, I've put the pros for Plenish are that it has less ingredients or less additives, and that will be very important to some people. The Plenish one has more protein, and obviously we're supposed to be getting more protein. The Plenish one has more fibre and is organic. So that's the kind of pros for the Plenish one. The pros for the Alpro one, by the way, there is a long life version available in the Alpro one. The pros for the Alpro one are its availability. That's a big one to me because when I went to Sainsbury's, I go to Sainsbury's and I order everything else from Asda online, but I'll go to Sainsbury's and Marks and Spencer's actually on a Friday. And so I could order the ones from Amazon. I don't know if they are long life or not. I'm not sure if they're fridge ones. Let me know if anybody knows. But it's easier just to pick up in the shops, and then I don't have to order 18 cartons of milk, you know, because I don't need that many. I do drink a lot of milk, but not that many. But then getting it from Sainsbury's means that I'm having to lift it. And the whole point, we get things from Asda like milk and cola when we were drinking water, you know, fabric conditioner, all that kind of thing we get because it's heavy, and then I don't have to lift it. And I mean, Kev could go and get it, but he's mostly working. So availability, that's a big thing for me, and just getting it from Asda in my delivery every week is much easier. There's less calories. There's half of the calories in the Alpro unsweetened milk, and that does appeal to me because I drink so much of it. If I just had a little bit, that would be fine. I wouldn't care. But I drink a lot of it. I have a very milky tea. I drink 300 mils in my shake in the morning, and I sometimes have a drink in the evening. There's another 200. So I drink a lot of it. I can drink up to a litre a day. The Alpro almond is cheaper, and this is something that does bother me again because I have so many. I probably get between 6 and 8 a week, sometimes less. Sometimes they build up in the fridge and I haven't drunk as much and I only need 4. But you know, at £2, I don't know exactly what it is compared to the dairy milk, but I think the dairy milk's a lot cheaper. Dairy milk we get for Kev. And it's a lot to pay for milk. And when I have no issue with it and no reason to buy the Plenish one because it's further, you know, more heavier for me to lift, I don't prefer the consistency, then it kind of does make a difference that it's cheaper as well, you know. There are less carbs in the Alpro one. The Alpro has no carbs, in fact, and there is 0.4 in the Plenish. Now 0.4 doesn't sound like much, that's per 100 ml, but you just have a 500 ml drink or a 300 pound drink, 3 of those would be 1.2, and 1.2 carbs when you're doing something like keto is really significant, you know. And there's 0.4 of fiber, I suppose, so it does, some people say that cancels it out, so I guess that might not be too applicable. There's less fat in the Alpro, which would send you to the Plenish one for keto, because the keto is a higher fat diet, if you like. And then there's vitamins in the Alpro one as well, so that's another pro. I think that's a pro. For me, the winner is the Alpro if I had to just choose one. Because like I said, there's nothing in it that concerns me. It's easy for me to order online from Asda, and it gets delivered, so I don't need to lift it. It's cheaper, and I prefer the consistency. I prefer that thick consistency in my shakes. I think I'll maybe do what I did last week and order some Alpro unsweetened from Asda, and then pick up a couple from Sainsbury's. That's what I did, just to see how heavy it was with everything else I was buying, because there's some things I can only get in Sainsbury's, and you know, I like to buy, if I'm buying meat or veg, I like to buy it in Sainsbury's, look at it and choose it rather than ordering it online, you know. And then like my shake this morning, I did half and half, so it's still a bit thick, but it's got those sort of natural ingredients, if you like, from the Plenish. I think that's everything to tell you about it. I'm sure people will have a lot to say on this. And I know that there is a lot of talk out there about emulsifiers and stabilizers, etc. But there are specific ingredients within that group of ingredients that are of concern. Like, again, I'm not sure if I would be saying it right, but carrageenan is one that is more of concern. There was another one that I can't think of the name of that I was specifically trying to avoid, and just have now eliminated the things that had it in. I think one of my pizzas had it in. Oh God, what was the name of it? I don't know. That would be a whole nother video anyway, wouldn't it? But it's not just a case of all emulsifiers and all stabilizers are bad. You know, it's the same with preservatives. Sometimes it's good to have a preservative so that what you're eating doesn't go off, you know. I would love to know what your take on this is. Which one would you go for? Would you go for the one with the only 3 ingredients because of the only the 3 ingredients? Or would you go for the, I guess I'm going for the easier option, aren't I? Because it's easier to get hold of, it's cheaper, and I prefer it and all of that. But like I said, there's nothing of concern. But let me know which one you would choose. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon.